Welcome everyone to the Choose to Change Foundation class this Thursday evening. Uh, just a little announcement there to kind of let you guys know. I want to thank everyone that showed up here today to our class uh, and those who are watching online. Just a little info there. Mr. Orlando Salinas, the founder of Choose to Change Foundation, won't be able to be with us here tonight. He's actually out there getting fed, gaining a little bit more knowledge so he can bring back to us and be able to share some of that knowledge with us to help us out here as this Choose to Change Foundation class continues to move forward. I'm just going to begin tonight's uh, meeting with our intro here. And if you'd like, you can just kind of listen or follow with me as I read on here this evening. My name is Juan Peña, and I am a proud member of the Choose to Change mentoring program. The Choose to Change mentoring program is a self supporting Christian based group supported by the Choose to Change Foundation. There is no fee to attend this class, but we do encourage donations from our members and from anyone else who believes in what we do. The only requirements for membership is a sincere desire to change your life. We are on a mission to restore families by inspiring, challenging, and equipping men to become better fathers, husbands, leaders in our communities. So if you are ready to change your life, then you are in the right place. And with that, I just want to give a little thank you here to Orlando for allowing me to help him out here this evening and to share a little bit about what Choose to Change has done for me in my life and for my family. And so just wanted to say thank you. And thank you for the guys here that showed up here faithfully. I am so grateful to them. And for Daniel back there, thank you very much for all that you guys do. And with that, let me just get started here this evening. I think it's been about almost 20 years since I've been, so to speak, around Orlando and all the things that God has allowed for him to do in his life. I actually came out of prison at the same time or right around the same time that Orlando had gotten out. And it just so happened that he was preparing himself in there. And so by the time he got out, everything that he shared with us in the past about him studying in there and getting his life together and saying that he was going to get this company together and he was going to do these things, he was actually doing them. When I met him, I had already been out for a few months. And then he came out and he was on it, man. And I saw him, man. And I've seen a lot of guys come in and out of prison. And so when I saw Orlando, I was inspired to see the motivation and the direction that he aimed towards in his life. So I was able to work with him, and so he opened his company and he started. God started blessing him. He started being successful. All the things that he said that he was doing, I was actually back there years ago. And as he opened his company, he gave me a job, and so I was able to work with him and be with him in the trucks in the morning and be able to share some of the stuff that he wanted to later on, which is now in the future to share with men to equip them and stuff. And it's been a challenge for me and my family, and thank God that we've been able to succeed, and God has been able to bless us. Um, I was able to, like I said, at that time, which it's been about 20 years now. I think it was back in 2002, 2003, I imagine, in those years. And so here we are years later, and all the things that he's teaching us and that God has been able to put together through the Choose to Change Foundation were actually some of the knowledge that he was depositing into my life at that time until God put it all together now. And so I just kind of wanted to give God all the glory this evening and just thank him for allowing Orlando and the Choose to Change Foundation to be a part of my life and my family. My family is so grateful for what God's done for us through Choose to Change, through Orlando and the men who give their time to this kind of of programs. And so, I've been able to succeed, as I'm telling you. I haven't arrived. I'm not no one, I know where I come from, spent uh, most of all my juvenile life locked up in juvenile. I spent 10 years in prison, locked up. And so I understand the challenges that we face. I know how difficult they can be at times, but I also know that God can make a way when He puts people in our path, people like Orlando and Choose to Change Foundation. And if we have a little bit of time and we can take advantage of some of that, God can do some great things in our lives. And like I said, I've been here. I've known Orlando for several years. Right behind me is our church. I've been able to attend our church, and through church and through Jesus Christ in my life and in my family's life, He's been able to bless us and help us in our life. And so, um, I just want to encourage everyone who's out there who might be listening, maybe to those who are here, that as you come to choose to change and you start making those choices to make better decisions for ourselves, to make better choices in our lives, sometimes it may seem as if things seem slow, but believe me, if we continue to go down a certain path, as Orlando has been trying to take us and lead us down, and we continue to just focus in on some of that He's depositing into our lives, and we just start using a little bit of that we hear. Every now and then you come into the class, maybe you hear a little bit of here, a little bit of there, maybe one of the guys speaks to you. Leon is always here, Chaverias is always here. They're always, some guys that have been here for years that you can just reach out to and talk to when you come into our classes. I mean, Orlando's made it so comfortable here. And uh, yeah, I just wanted to take a little time to kind of share with you guys a little bit about what God has done in my life and how He's been able to achieve uh, certain blessings in my life, and a lot of it, most of it, all of it comes from God. But as you can see, God is being Orlando's being led by what God has been depositing into his life, and he's been able to bring it forth through Choose to Change Foundation class. That's what's so unique about this. And a lot of people that are coming in are starting to realize that it's not just like a normal class or a normal uh, Alcoholics Anonymous class, things of that sort. We try to focus in on what really matters for the man to be a leader once again in his life. And so just wanted to thank Orlando and everyone from the Choose to Change Foundation for what they've been able to put together to be a blessing to my life. And hopefully some of you guys out there can just listen in. Today we got a special speaker. Leon's going to come up here in a minute, and he's going to share his testimony with us and bring us to a closing, I think. So thank you so much, guys. Online, don't forget to like us for those who are watching on YouTube, and thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Here you go. Leon.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Leon Garcia. I am a member here of the Choose to Change Foundation. I started here, I want to say about 2 years ago. But before everything happened, before I even got here, I was the drug dealer, the drug addict. The father that was never there. You know what I mean? And it led me to do a lot of things that I wasn't supposed to be doing. I ended up going to prison, for a lot of my years from when I was younger, from 97, 98, 99. Went back in 2000, 2001, 2002. Got out, went back 3, 4, and 5. Got out, and then went back again in 10, 11, and 12. So I did a lot of time in there. I probably missed a couple of years in between there, but I would go in and get out, go in and get out, and it was always that mentality of that. That's the way I was raised, and that's the way I was raised, and así me criaron. You know what I mean? And it has nothing to do with how we were raised. You know what I mean? And it took me a long time to realize that, because that's the way I was. It was ingrained in me that, hey, well, my dad was a drug dealer, I'm gonna be a drug dealer. You know what I mean? My dad was an alcoholic, I'm gonna be an alcoholic. My dad did drugs, I'm gonna do drugs. My dad, did certain things, and that's what I learned. And that's what I thought that I was supposed to do. Like they say, follow in your father's footsteps. You know what I mean? Until I found out by coming here to the Choose to Change Foundation that it's about our choices, about the choices that we make, and that we ultimately hold that in our hands. We can make that choice. We can make that choice to say, hey, you know what? I want Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior. And that's what really helped me to understand, because I remember when I first came into this classroom, I was like, man, here we go. What is this guy gonna teach me? He's a convict, just like me. He's an ex-con. What is he gonna teach me, man? I've been here, done that, and I'm listening to him. And he doesn't have it here anymore, but he had some stuff written up here where it said, if you have a desire, you have faith, and with your desire and your faith, and it gets you to your mindset. You know what I mean? And your mindset ultimately dictates your when you wake up in the morning, you wake up with a bad attitude, already hating life, already hating this. You already started off wrong. So now your attitude gets involved in there, and then your attitude dictates your habits. And once your habits get, it ends up going into a roller coaster, and it ends up being your end results. You know what I mean? Which my end results, by me waking up with my mindset that, hey, I'm a drug dealer. Hey, I do this. That's what ended me with my end results, which was in prison for a lot of my time. When I finally got out, that I came here to this class, like I said, I started looking up there. I said, Orlando got something going here. Like, I can't believe it's that easy. I can't believe I never tried that. I tried all kinds of other stuff, and it never worked. So I started listening to Orlando, to Brother Orlando, and he has a lot of information, guys. I mean, he really pulled it. He opened up something. It triggered something in my mind. Also that, and me giving my life to Jesus Christ and coming to church. Brother Juan, brother Cheverria, and Daniel over there, and Frank. All these brothers that are around. There's other brothers here that they edify you, they lift you up. You know what I mean? Instead of them, that homeboy or that friend that always wants to tell you, hey man, hey, it's gonna be all right. Come on, let's drink a beer, or let's smoke a joint, or vamos a darles un pase. And those aren't your friends. They're trying to bring you down to down to the ground, back again. Until I started coming to the church and realizing these things, and sober minded, listening to Orlando, coming to classes, going to the Is God group. We also have a group here called Is God, but the Choose to Change was what really opened my mind, and it blew me away that I ultimately have the choice to change things in my life, and changing things in my life, I changed things in my children's life as well, because now they see their father that was never there, always doing drugs and always doing what I wasn't supposed to be doing. Now they're seeing me there more. You know what I mean? Now I'm more involved in their life and stuff like that. My wife, we had gotten married here at the church. It's kind of hard still sometimes to talk about it, but we had gotten married here and everything. But God had other plans, so He took her. You know, with this COVID stuff that happened, and she passed away. So at that moment in my life, I was like, man, I was just about getting everything right. God, what's going on? You know, but I had that choice again, put right in front of me again. It's either I went back to the drugs and what I knew how to do, or do I choose to stay in the right direction and continue to press forward to teach my children something, to be able to raise them in the God fearing way, and to bring them back, you know what I mean, into Christ, to keep them with Christ. So I was stuck. Like, the devil was telling me one thing and God's telling me another thing. The Holy Spirit's telling me something else. Hey, don't do it. You know what I mean? And in my mind, I'm thinking, man, that's the way I was raised. No, that's not the way I was raised. Now I hear Orlando saying it's not the way you were raised. It probably was the way you were raised, but you have a choice. And I chose not to do drugs again. I chose not to drink alcohol again. I chose to keep coming to the church. I chose to keep surrounding myself with God-fearing men that were gonna bring me up. You know what I mean? Even though I was feeling down. So with my wife passing away, it's been a struggle. It's been hard. Like Orlando says, if it was easy, everybody be doing it. You know what I mean? But it's not easy. So we just gotta be able to stand firm with what we believe in, our belief. And my belief is that God is almighty, that God can do anything. He can work miracles. He can change our lives around. He can restore broken relationships that He did with my wife and I, with my children, with my family members. Um, Now they don't call me like to tell me, hey, this happened. Can you help us out? Like, I was a black sheep. I was that one that they called and said, hey, this is going on over here. Come help us out over here, but and go do something crazy. But now they call me and they tell me, hey, can you pray for me? Can you pray for so and so? Can you do this? Can you do that? That says a lot. I got neighbors also now that have, even started to see the change in me, that they even gave me, their tithes and offerings to come and bring to the church. And I tell them, why don't you bring them? Come on. They're kind of scared still of COVID, but they're seeing that change to where they're saying, here, whatever they're doing to you there at that church, or whatever God is doing there, we want to give. You know what I mean? Because they see the change. But it's all a choice that we have. Like Orlando says, it's a choice and it's a mindset. So I try every morning, because the flesh is strong. You know what I mean? The flesh always wants to pull you back into into the world, into the worldly things, the things that we were used to. I say the world because anybody who's been locked up here knows what the world means. It means out here, and the temptations that we got. Because even when you're locked up, it's easy to be locked up. It's easy because there's no drugs, there's no alcohol, there's none of this. You can make alcohol, you can get some drugs if you try really hard, you know what I mean, or know the right people. But it's not like out here where the temptation is there. It's right around the corner. It's a phone call away. It's this and that, So this is where it all begins. This is where, if you want to set your mind straight and keep in the right direction, it's a choice. Like Orlando says, it's a choice. And it's that choice is to change and to become the man that we have been called to be, the fathers that we've been called to be. You know what I mean? The husbands that we've been called to be, the leaders that we've been called to be. So I like right now, in a show of hands, how many people here had, or men here had an alcoholic father, or how many of them did drugs, how many of them were womanizers, or and stuff like that. See what I mean? So then, including me myself, my father was like that, and that's what I chose to do. Now, check this out. I was reading this thing the other day where there's two men in the park, and the guy would always pass by looking at him, and he would always pass by and looking at him. One of them in a suit, in a tie, nicely dressed, there in the park. And the other guys next to him in the next bench, all tirado, all dressed down, all dirty, smelling like alcohol, probably had like that Charlie Brown guy, some flies flying around him. But so the guy's walking in the park, and he says, "You know what? I'm gonna ask these guys, why is he in this situation, and how is this guy in this situation?" So when he walks to the poor guy, and he tells him, "Hey, why are you like this? What happened in your life that you're like this?" He says, "My dad was an alcoholic." Huh? You know. And then he walks by and he walks to the other guy and asks the same guy, the guy in the business suit and everything. He says, "Hey, sir, can I ask you a question? What makes you what you are now?" He says, "My dad was an alcoholic." It's a choice that he made. That man in the suit, that well off man, made a choice to not be like his dad. You know what I mean? And that's what I got out of that story. And that other guy chose to be an alcoholic just like his dad. You see? So then it comes down to choices and what we do in our lives that's going to define who we are. You know, how many men here have children? There we go. How many have girls, boys? No. Okay. Well, even if either or, if you have a girl, would you like for your girl to have a man that you used to be, or that you are, that you're still trying to come out of? I wouldn't want my daughter to have a husband or a man like the way that I used to be. You know what I mean? The person that I used to be, I was horrible, man. I wouldn't want that for my daughter. I want the best for her. You know, I wouldn't want her to have a guy that's an alcoholic, a drug user, and doing this, a womanizer, and not even paying any respect to her. Because what respect did we really did have for anybody? I'd walk around inside a store, all smoked up, full of marijuana, and people smelling me, and they would look at me like, "Man, this guy, no respect." I didn't, no respect. And you think you would want one of them people with your daughter? You know what I mean, brother? Would you like something like that for your daughter to have a man like that in her life? You wouldn't like it. I don't think so. ¿Me entiendes? And your son, if you people that have sons like my son, I wouldn't want him to go to prison, bro. That's a horrible place to be. I've been there, done that. I want the best for him. But that's where we come into play, and we have to show them the way. We have to be those leaders, to teach them, hey, this is the way a man is supposed to be with a woman. How do you do that? By being good with your wife. You're still with your wife, be good with your wife. Show your daughter, hey, this is the way a man is supposed to act. This is the way a man is supposed to be, towards his wife, loving and caring. You know, it's kind of hard sometimes, right, to listen to them. But we have to pay attention to them because they are, part of us. They're equal to us. A lot of the times I used to walk around with my wife behind me. I never had her next to me. See what I mean? So she could help me through certain things in certain situations. I always had her in the back. But when I learned how to bring her next to me, it was like, man, this is so much easier. What was I doing? What was I thinking before? You know what I mean? So then, and my son, like I said, I wouldn't want to see him in prison. I wouldn't want to, so I have to teach him the right things too. Hey, somebody comes up to you and starts talking smack. Hey, okay, man. Hey, maybe he was having a bad day. Who knows what that guy was going through? You know what I mean? So I mean, blow it off. I mean, you're not. Don't let his bad day ruin your day. You know what I mean? Because I know myself. Somebody come talking something crazy, I was, punch them in their mouth. I can't teach my son how to do that. You know what I mean? I gotta reframe myself and find different ways of how to deal with certain people. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that I'm perfect. I'm still learning. Sometimes I get upset. All of a sudden I'll be like, oh man, I messed up. But the good thing is that we serve a gracious God, a good God that still forgives us for the things that we do. You know what I mean? But we're trying to better ourselves. And that's where I like this class that Orlando has put up, to be able to talk to men and let them know that hey, if a person like me can change, then anybody can change, but it's our choice. Like right now, you guys have a choice to leave this place and say, hey, you know what, let me look up some more stuff that Orlando has, because Orlando got a lot of information. I'm just letting you know a little bit of this stuff that this man has and what he has in his mind and his brain that God has put in his heart to be able to help us all. You know what I mean? I say us because he helps me every day that I come. Every time I'm listening to him, I say, man, this guy's still teaching me something. And I never thought, like I said, I first came in here, I was like, man, what can this guy teach me? But little did I know that he was going to blow my mind away and help me to be able to do these different things and help me to become the man that I'm starting to become, the man that I'm being, the man that I've always wanted to be. I remember praying to God one time and telling him, God, help me to be the father that you have called me to be. Help me to be the man that you've called me to be. Help me to lead my children in your ways, and God-fearing children. Bring them up God-fearing. Even if they do go astray, they'll come back. That's what the Word of God says. Even if they do, just teach them my ways. And if they happen to go astray, guess what? They're going to come back, because that's what happened with me. I learned because my grandparents taught me when I was young. My dad didn't teach me that, but my grandparents did. So I knew I was doing wrong. I just like to do the wrong thing because it felt good. Nobody, and I try to do the right thing. And when I would try to do the right thing, something bad would happen. You see, why did I even try? But nobody said that doing the right thing is going to be easy. It's going to be a challenge. And as men, we're supposed to like that challenge. It's ingrained in us to, what, I can do it. And the thing that got me more into it was hearing people say, how long is this going to last with this guy? He's done it before. How long is it going to last? You know what I mean? So that gave me more motivation, brother, to say, I'm going to do it no matter what they say, no matter, and asking God, hey, help me, God, because the type of person I am. That I'm going to do the wrong thing. That, I feel like going and hitting that guy in the mouth. You know what I mean? Like, help me, Lord. You know what I mean? But I would make the choice not to do it, and to, instead of reacting, to asking God. You know what I mean? Help me with these things. Help me to do the right choice. Help me to make the right choice. And right now, that's where I'm at right now. That I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I recently got another vehicle. just a couple of days ago, I got another vehicle. I had to turn in the Land Rover that was my wife's, putting a lot of money into it, but I got another vehicle. And I remember talking to a couple of brothers that they were like, "Man, you've bought vehicles before?" And I said, "Yeah, but I would give them 20 pounds, 30 pounds for the car." I didn't buy it at the dealership. You know what I mean? It's different. Now I can say I got a car from the dealership. You know what I mean? So, I mean, that's pretty cool. To even think that 2 years ago, from the place where I am now to where I was, it's, man, like night and day. You know what I mean? But thank you, Orlando. I thank you for giving me the chance to speak here and to just give a little bit of my testimony and what God can do, man. So yes, sir. Yes, sir. Um, what I learned from the choose to change. That's a good question. What I learned from the choose to change from the time that I was out in the world to now, when I go through something that's hard, I learned that to choose to change, it's ultimately my choice to do the right thing or the bad thing. You know what I mean? When the bad thing came with me, which was with my wife, which is the most recent one, the enemy was telling me. He even threw scripture at me and said, "Hey, it's okay to drink. You can drink. Everybody's gonna. Don't worry about it. Go ahead and drink, man. Everybody at church, they're gonna understand. Look what you're going through. Your wife just passed away. They're gonna understand. Drink. It's okay." And I was like, "Devil, you's a liar, man." You know what I mean? I said, because I had to make that choice. But that's what I learned from here, from Orlando, was that my mindset, like change with the way I was thinking, and fight back the enemy with the same word. You know what I mean? But yeah, my mindset, changing my mindset has been the best thing that I could do. Is here with the choose to change. That's what I found that helps me out a lot. Changing the way I think compared to the way I used to think. You know what I mean? Because back then I would have thought, "Oh yeah, my wife passed away. Let me get a bottle of tequila. Let me drown my sorrows." You know what I mean? And then after that bottle of tequila, who knows that a quarter into that bottle comes the cocaine. You know what I mean? And then the cigarettes, because you gotta smoke a cigarette while you're doing cocaine and drinking alcohol. And then after you're already so high, and then it's probably gonna take me 2 3 days, till I finally, run out of the cocaine. And if if I ran out of it, um, then comes the marijuana to come back down. You know what I mean? And there I go, starting a whole cycle all over again, instead of saying, "God, help me." You know what I mean? But because I was sober minded, brother, when all of this happened, like God prepared me for this moment in my life. I believe that He prepared me because, and with through choose to change, through the is God, through the coming to church, through everything, God prepared me for this moment in my life when my wife passed away. Because I don't know where my children would be. You know, I probably would have lost them already. The house, I probably would have lost the house, the vehicles. I'd probably be back in prison doing a life sentence because I done went and beat the brakes off of somebody. Um, but it was my mindset, brother. My mindset, that the change that Orlando said, and it is true, because I have that desire to change, and I have that faith in God that He can do all things. And that's what changed my mindset, man. And that's what I really admired about Orlando, that he opened my eyes with that, man. God used him to open my eyes. Like, I probably heard it 1,000 times from 1,000 different people, probably even more. But when Orlando said it to me, it just like clicked something in my head, that my mindset is gonna dictate my attitudes, my habit, and the ending result in everything that I do. So yeah, that's what helped me here in the choose to change, was changing my mindset. Um, but if there's any other questions, anybody got some other questions that they might want to throw out there and say? But that's really what happened with me, and how I dealt with a lot of these things that were going on in my life. And Orlando really has it down to, I don't want to say science. It's something different. It's totally different what Orlando has for you guys. But I'm just letting you know what he's taught me and how it's helped me to overcome all of these things that have been happening in my life. And right now, I've had other little issues, like with my son and stuff. But instead of telling him, to do something crazy, now I'm telling him, hey, come talk to me. What's going on? How can I help you with this problem? You know what I mean? To help him so he can make the right choices too and the right decisions and not go astray. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I wouldn't have been doing that, before. You know what I mean? I would have just, told him something out there, and if I don't know what to tell him, I normally come to brothers, in Christ that can help me, because I've noticed that a lot of the brothers here at the church, they're they're sober to begin with, and they've we've all gone through something in our life, you know what I mean, that can help somebody else, you know what I mean, and I normally ask them, like, hey, this is going on, like, how, what can I do? What can I do? And then I'll take their information. I'll go ask another brother something else, and I'll go ask somebody else something, and then if more than two or three brothers are telling me the same thing, guess what? There's God talking to you, telling you this is what you're supposed to do. Don't go, trying to say, nah, I don't believe it. I think I need to do it this way. Then why are you asking? If you want to do it your way, then do it your way. But if you want to learn something new and something, to be able to change your life, this is a life changing program. This what Orlando has is choose to change. It's a life changing. Um, you know, if you guys look up Orlando Salinas, from what got me interested with him was that book that he has, and we have this book here for $10. Can you bring me one of those books, brother, from over there? Oh, there's one here. Oh yeah, there's one right here. See, Orlando has this book that he wrote, this Dead Man Walking, and Orlando wrote this book here. And when I started reading this book, and by the way, they are for sale, $10. They help out the Choose to Change Foundation. But when I started reading that book, I was like, man, this guy was out there. Huh. This guy, what is he doing in the church? Like, man, even when I was coming, when my wife first brought me by the church, I was the same way, like, man, what am I going to do? I can't go in there. But, yeah, like, he was out there, and look what God has done with that man. You know what I mean? So I said, man, if he can choose to change and do those things and take the right steps, man, look where he's at. You know what I mean? And that's where I want to be. So, uh, that's what I strive for, to be that man that God has called me to be for my children, for my family. You know what I mean? For my sisters, that are out there, and they're listening to me and they're watching me. They know what type of person I was, and they probably wouldn't ever expect me to be seeing me up here, talking about this or my life or anything like that. But you know, it's so awesome what God can do, brother. It's so awesome what He can do, and we got to learn how to change our mindset. That's basically what I'm trying to tell you guys is change your mindset. Give Orlando a chance. If this is your first time tuning in, it's just something that he can do. Give him a chance. Listen to what he's saying, and try it out. Try it out and see what happens, and see if it doesn't work in your life. You know. Something to become a habit. Brother Orlando always says, keep doing it over and over again, over and over again, the same thing over and over again, and it becomes a habit, so then, he says about exercising, how to get up and just get up. Don't go walking, just get up and sit down on the edge of the bed, put on your shoes, and then take them off and get laid back down. But after 2-3 weeks of doing that, guess what? It becomes a habit already to get up and put on your shoes. Now just walk to the kitchen, he says, and come back, And then in the next time, for the next 2 weeks, just go to the kitchen and come back, And then for the next 2 weeks after that, you know what? Go outside and walk around the house and then come back inside and lay down. And it becomes a habit. Now that man walks, what? Does he say like 2-3 miles, something like that? Now he walks 2-3 miles every morning, real early in the morning. I'm like, I'm barely going to sleep at that time. I got a brother that's always texting us real early in the morning, man. He's always texting us, arise, men of God. This, and look at what the Lord has done, this glorious day. He always has something different for us. and it's always at about 4:30 in the morning, man. And I'm like, man, this guy's out of control. I'm asleep at that time, but I always wake up just to see what he wrote me, like, man, that encourages my day, even though it doesn't start till 9, brother, but yeah, so that encourages my day, even though my day doesn't start till later on. I always expect to hear from my brother, and that lifts me up every morning, and then just checking out all the other brothers where they put on there, hey, what's going on, champ, and champ this, and putting little different little things on there just to start off our day, you know what I mean, and let us know that our brothers are out there, to help us out and to edify us and lift us up, and so I encourage you guys to listen to Orlando. We're gonna pass around the donation bucket. If we work off of donations alone, to help with our foundation. If you guys want to donate online, we do accept donations. If you like what we're doing to empower men to become the fathers, the leaders, and the husbands that we have been called to be, by God, then go please donate. These all these donations go to help us go into the prisons to help men like ourselves to know that there's a difference. There's a different way of life. There's a different way of being through our choices and what Orlando has to teach. So I thank you guys. We have shirts as well. I don't know if can you put that up there, brother? Those shirts. We also have shirts like these ones. Nice shirts. I like that one over there. This is what I like the most. But since I was gonna be a speaker, I said let me do a little bit more professional. So yeah, we got these that say I'm going to the top. Brother's saying going to the top because it's too crowded at the bottom. Huh? You know? And that's the best, man, because it is too crowded at the bottom. At the bottom is I was there. It's crowded. Man, everybody wants to keep holding you down. No, man. Yeah, I want to step on you but when you're at the top, you can look down and say, all right, I'll help you up. Come on. And help out another brother. You know what I mean? And that's the help that I got from these brothers from the Choose to Change Foundation. I thank you guys. Appreciate everything that you guys do. And so then and we got these shirts. Like I said, this one's a different one here that says, I'm going to the top. And people be looking at it, and then you walk by them, and then they turn around and say, hey, man, that guy's going to the top. Oh, it's too crowded at the bottom. That way they have to take a second look at you. You know what I mean? Yeah, especially when you're walking around full of tattoos and stuff. Come on now. Everybody's taking a double take at us, man. And the good thing is that here at this church, bro, is the best because the Jesus love, man. Nobody looks down at you for nothing. You know what I mean? Everybody's been there, done that. I know our pastor was rough, around the edges. Now he's smooth, but he's still rough with us. Just joking, pastor. But yeah, so he's a godly man. He's a man with a lot of wisdom, knowledge, and he's there to help us out. So I encourage you guys to come to our church. Just keep coming, like they told me. Just keep coming, and you're gonna be all right. You're gonna eventually get it. You know what I mean? I got it. It took me about 25, 30 years to get it, but I got it. And I can't let go now. So I'm just here to encourage everybody else that if a person like me, Orlando, Brother Juan, Echeverria, Frank over here can do it, so can you guys, man. And we're here to help you guys out, to help you out, lift you up, and edify you. Thank you guys for coming.